What if humans disappeared for 1,000 years? Look around you. Really look at the towering skyscrapers, the endless concrete jungles, the intricate web of roads and bridges. Every single one of these is a testament to human ingenuity, to our relentless drive to build, to conquer, to shape the world in our image. But what if it all vanished? Not in a fiery apocalypse, not with a bang, but with a whisper, a sudden, silent disappearance. What if one day we simply disappeared, leaving behind our monumental achievements, our intricate societies, our entire existence for the planet to reclaim? Imagine a world where every single human being, every man, woman, and child, every one of the 8 billion souls on this planet simply evaporated, gone. In an instant, no goodbyes, no warnings, just absence. What would the Earth look like 1,000 years after we became ghosts? The answer is both terrifying and beautiful. It all begins almost immediately. The immediate aftermath. The planet exhales. In the first few hours, the world would fall silent. The hum of traffic, machinery, conversation, gone. The silence would be so deep it would almost feel loud. Within hours, power grids would begin to fail. Coal plants would run out of fuel, nuclear plants would shut down on their own, safely in most cases. Hydroelectric dams would stop functioning. Cities would go dark, then cold. Refrigerators would stop, food would rot. Pets would be among the first to suffer. Dogs and cats, so dependent on us, would face a harsh new reality. Many would die, but some would survive. They'd form packs, they'd hunt, the strongest would adapt, shedding centuries of domestication. Years 1 to 100, nature's swift reclamation. Fast forward a few years. Cracks would appear in our concrete world. Roads would break apart, weeds and saplings would splice through pavements. Buildings would leak, their roofs caving under rain and neglect. Steel would rust. Bridges, especially suspension bridges, would collapse as their cables gave way. Landmarks like the Golden Gate and Brooklyn Bridge would become twisted, rusted skeletons. Eventually, they'd fall. Burst pipes would flood subways, creating underground rivers. Basements would turn into stagnant pools. Cities would become marshlands, slowly drowning in their own infrastructure. But as our world decayed, wildlife would flourish. Deer in Central Park, coyotes on the streets of Los Angeles, wolves, bears, and big cats entering the concrete jungle. Cities would become ecosystems. Years 100 to 500, the planet reshapes. By the 500-year mark, smaller structures like homes and shops would have completely collapsed. Wood rots, bricks crumble, the debris would be absorbed into the earth, forming new hills and valleys. Picture Roman ruins, but everywhere, on every continent, and faster. High-rise buildings made of concrete and steel would still stand, barely. They'd be hollow, gutted by time and weather, covered in vines and moss. Windows shattered, interiors flooded. Skyscrapers turned into vertical forests. Fields once used for farming would go wild. Forests would reclaim the land. Rivers would change course. Coastlines would shift. Mountains of garbage would flatten, covered by plant life and soil. The geography of the Earth would begin to change, subtly at first, then dramatically. Years 500 to 1000, the echoes of a lost civilization. Now we're at the 1,000-year mark. Most coastal cities would be underwater. The ocean, with time and patience, always wins. What remains above ground would be the toughest, most resilient structures we ever built. Dams like Hoover may still stand, cracked and weathered, but looming. Monumental bridges may leave behind fragments of their towers, like bones of forgotten giants. Our plastic legacy? Still there, in microform, everywhere. But bottles and bags would be breaking down. Landfills would compress into strange fossil-like layers that future geologists, if any, would someday study. They'd find the Anthropocene layer, a geological scar filled with plastic, concrete, and remnants of our time here. The New World, a vibrant wilderness. But this isn't a story of destruction. It's a story of healing. 1,000 years without humans and the Earth would bloom again. The air would be cleaner, rivers clear, global temperatures, once driven by carbon emissions, would stabilize. Without their greatest threat, animals would thrive. Populations would explode. Biodiversity would return. Forests would spread like wildfire. New species might evolve. Old ones would repopulate. The world would become wilder than we've ever seen it. A world untouched by human hands. A world where nature rules again. Our legacy, what remains after us? So, what's left of us? Not the skyscrapers, not the smartphones, not the internet. Our legacy would be written in the soil, a strange layer in the earth marked by plastics, metals, and radiation, a silent fingerprint. Massive concrete ruins maybe. The Great Wall of China may be still there, crumbling but long. But most of what we were, forgotten. The earth forgets fast, and it doesn't need us to keep turning. The silent question, what was it all for? The idea of our disappearance is unsettling, but it's also enlightening. It shows how temporary we are, how easily the world moves on without us. Nature would heal, it always does. The forests would sing, the rivers would roar, and the winds would whisper through broken windows and cracked walls. It forces a question, what is our role here? Are we a fleeting moment, or can we be more? One thing is certain, the earth would continue. It always has, with us or without us. Let that thought settle. What do you think would be the most surprising change? Stay curious, stay questioning. This was Tarot Next.